Hello there, and welcome to the show. And today I'm going to be talking about The Fantastic Four First Steps. The Fantastic Four First Steps was released on July 25th. It is the first film in Phase 6 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as well as the first overall project of Phase 6. This is the fourth Fantastic Four film, fifth if you include the Roger Corman Fantastic Four film. I wasn't very excited for this movie. Fan4stick was one of the worst films I had ever seen in my entire life, and the mid-2000s Fantastic Four movies, they're not great, they're not even that good, but as generic, disposable superhero entertainment go, there are worse films out there. Marvel has released a couple of terrible projects in the last few years, and I was fully expecting for this to be another terrible project. However, I watched this film over the weekend. Let's talk about it. Set in a retro-futuristic 1960s New York City, the Fantastic Four have been operating publicly for the last 4 years. This film does a sizzle reel at the start, quick snapshot of how they got their powers and what they've been doing over the last 4 years. And I will say, the way this film opened and the way it's set up was very effective. This is how Superman should have opened instead of that text crawl. This was a lot more impactful of an opening scene. One day, the Silver Surfer arrives on Earth and informs the entire world that Galactus is coming to destroy the planet, and the Fantastic Four have to stop Galactus. That is the basic premise of this film. It is not an overstatement to say that everything was riding on this film for Marvel. This film had to be good, has to make money at the box office, and has the task of setting up the entire Doomsday storyline. Everything in the multiverse saga was riding on this movie. And I gotta say, not only was this film good, it is also the best superhero movie of 2025. First off, I thought the main cast was incredible in this film. All four main characters, Reed Richards, Sue Storm, Johnny Storm, and Ben Grimm, are presented very well. Watching them on screen, because the Fantastic Four were Marvel's first family, and watching them on screen, that family dynamic comes across very well. These four have great chemistry together, they play off of each other pretty well, and all four of them are presented well and are written well. The performances by Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and Eben Moss-Backrack were incredible. They were excellent. And this film showcases the dynamics, the brother-sister dynamic between Johnny and Sue, the husband-wife dynamic between Reed and Sue, the back and forth between Johnny and Ben. The dynamics in this film were presented very well. The presentation of the Fantastic Four was incredible. So I'm gonna commend Marvel for this and for not butchering these characters like they've done to a couple of characters in Phase 5 and Phase 4. Another thing I want to praise, Galactus. I am so thankful that we got to see Galactus as Galactus instead of a cosmic space cloud. Seeing Galactus on screen was incredible, and his first appearance was executed brilliantly. The lead up to that, the final reveal, it is done very well, and Galactus really did feel like a world-ending threat. I enjoyed the action scenes, the opening action montage with the Fantastic Four fighting a couple of bad guys. The final fight against Galactus, I thought that was incredible. The way the action takes place in New York City and how they use the city element, and the lead up to that final fight as well, with the Fantastic Four preparing Earth and then the Silver Surfer coming and destroying everything they had worked so hard for. That was all phenomenal. Perfect storytelling right there. There's also a chase scene in space with the Silver Surfer and the Fantastic Car, and I thought that was very entertaining, and the way it ends was done pretty well. This film had a good amount of funny moments. I laughed quite a bit during this film, and the comedy in this film, not exactly that cringe-inducing comedy that we've seen from a couple of Marvel projects in recent years. This was actually genuinely funny comedy. One other thing I want to mention, this film does feel like a self-contained movie. It sets up the Fantastic Four instead of setting up a bunch of other projects. You don't need to know anything about the MCU or superheroes or even the Fantastic Four really to enjoy this film. Everyone can enjoy this film. That being said, this film does reference certain elements from Fantastic Four lore. They reference villains. There's some cameos in this film. If you're a comic book fan, there are a couple of things in here that you will pick up on. This film is also emotionally compelling. I was fully invested in the characters characters and the story. I was fully invested in this film. This film does have a post-credit scene and the end credit scene. The mid-credit scene does set up for the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and you can actually leave the theater after the mid-credit scene. The post-credit scene isn't really worth staying through all the credits. This film is also paced very well. The first act, second act, and third act, decent pace, doesn't feel too rushed or too slow, and it tells a solid, comprehensive storyline that I was fully invested in. I only have 3 real issues with this movie. The first one, after the Fantastic Four's meeting with Galactus, they return to Earth, and Reed Richards tells the entire world that the negotiations failed, and he tells the world what Galactus wants, causing the public to turn on the Fantastic Four. I understand why they did this, but that just made Reed look like an idiot in my opinion. He had to have known that it would cause some backlash. Why would he tell the entire world? Another thing, I do wish there were more scenes between Johnny Storm and Silver Surfer. There's a character arc with Silver Surfer that I feel would have been more impactful if they had more scenes together. I just feel they needed more time on screen so that the moment would feel more impactful. And the third thing that I took issue with was that I wish they would have shown Latveria. We all know that Robert Downey Jr. is gonna return as Dr. Doom, and they're gonna save that big reveal for Doomsday. However, I feel they could have at least shown Latveria in this film. Aside from these 3 things, I think this is a very good film. I would even consider certain parts of it great. I enjoyed this film. This is the best superhero film of 2025. No question, Marvel's best film of the year. I enjoyed the Fantastic Four First Steps, and I think it's worth watching in cinemas. And that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. You can follow me on Instagram at Said_2000, and I will see you on the next video. Till then, take care.